Well, hi, and welcome to this week's episode of Make More Money Now. Today, Patty's got the lead. I'm Gerry Black, marketing writer, copywriter, marketing strategist. Patty is going to take the lead today and talk to us about something we can't see, but we all feel, and it affects almost everything we do in the world of selling. So, Patty, take it away.
Thank you, Gerry. And it was when I was driving in my car, and I'm listening to podcasts, and they were saying about how important it is just to be yourself, be authentic, because people have a sixth or seventh sense about when you're being fake. We all know everybody looks big on the internet. You can have an Airbnb mansion that you've rented for one night, the Rolex that's fake or from the pawn shop. Is everybody has this image, but we're saying in professional speakers is if you're one person on stage, you got to be that same person off the stage. And I believe that people just sense that if you're not being yourself. And so this episode is diplomatically entitled Get Over Yourself. Okay.
There you go.
You're there to help others, right?
I would have liked to have sat in on the meeting where you went through the working titles before deciding on that one.
I used, the headline analyzer that we've talked about in previous shows. So I actually worked my way through it using that. And this is the one it came up with as being emotionally, spiritually, intellectually connected. So it's get over yourself. And what I mean by that, so first of all, to me, sales is a mindset that you've got to be in the right frame, that sales is something that you do as an entrepreneur. It's not it's mandatory. It's not an option. I always say, if you don't want to learn how to sell properly, go get a job. Okay. So it's a mindset. Then there's a skill set involved. You got to know how. And then there's a process and there's a discipline. So those four things together. But the mindset, when I say get over yourself, it's those people, and it's less prevalent now because people just will not connect on LinkedIn if you don't have a profile picture. And I don't care how much you say you don't like yourself in video or a photo. It's like, hey, Gerry, I'm looking at you now, okay? Warts and all, right? I mean, it's we see each other. People see you all the time, live and in real life. At least with a photo, you have a chance of showing your best side. There's some people that will only look, some famous comedian who I once spent a day with, like she would only look you can only take pictures on one side, Okay, fine. Boy, was she high maintenance. Anyways, but it's like when a good friend of mine, the late great Warren Evans, said, everybody hates themselves on videos, and he was in the multiple, he charged 10 to 25,000 for a keynote. He's in the elite speakers, and if he could say he hated himself, it's like, who am I, humble wannabe speaker? Who am I to say, I don't like the way I look on video? But it's like, people see you. I mean, Gerry and I are looking eyeball to eyeball across Zoom, and I am who you are, and nobody really cares because don't forget, I care about myself, so I'm not thinking about you. Right. So the whole thing about getting over yourself is I'm really, I'm more concerned about myself. So I'm not even thinking about you.
Yes.
Have you found that, Gerry, that
Well, I have, and I'll often say to people, if you knew how little people actually care about not only what you look like, but what's important to you, especially when you're in a selling situation, you'd be shocked. Like, I mean, we spend all of this time worried about all these little details, and yet the person on the other side is going, what do you got? What's in it for me? And that's really what they care about.
Yeah, I mean, it's even in this age of technology, and we're always connected, and everybody's on their cell phones 24/7. It's still a person-to-person business. It's still, people still buy for people they know, like, and trust.
Yes.
And without a picture, I won't trust you. I will not connect on LinkedIn. That's just a automatic, fail, basically. But it's funny that you said about one of my lines is that they don't care about you until you show you care about them. Given that you're the seller, is that okay? What's in it for me, right? So they're not going to. They don't really care about you until you show you care about them, because I guess, in the past, sales has been, perceived as manipulative and sleazy, and you're out to get the best of me. It's I win, you lose. So they're a little, the buyers a little hesitant about getting taken because it still happens. We all know there's scammers out there who will take your money and not give you any value for it. And they won't give you your money back because they got small print. I was like, okay, legally, yeah, you're in the right. Ethically, you suck. You really suck. That's not the way I operate. I don't even have a contract because it just doesn't make sense in because my business as a one-on-one coach or a small business consultant is all based on trust and the circumstances. If I'm giving value, if I'm helping people sell more, like my last client, they had the best year ever in 15 years. Like, it's like, woohoo. I helped them celebrate that 15th year anniversary because they hadn't really thought about it. So I was like, okay, things are happening. So I showed I cared about them and I was proactively thinking about how to promote their business, even though that didn't have anything specifically to do with sales training, but it's part of growing a business.
And it's part of also developing that connection. I think it was Mary Angelou who said once, and I'm sure I'll mess up this quote, but people won't remember what you said, they won't remember what you did, but they will remember how you made them feel.
Yeah.
And that's pretty profound when you think about it, because that's really when you are getting them to feel a certain way. Obviously, you've shown them that you do care about them.
That's right. That's right.
To get to that point in the relationship.
When I think I teach at Ryerson, I teach entrepreneurial sales, so about 110 students each year in 2 classes. And that was the biggest, most commented feature on my teaching is that I really care that they learn something. I'm not there to boast and bloat my to say, oh, I'm such a fantastic salesperson, because who cares? I always talk about my brag sheet, which is, what my clients have achieved with my help, how I've seen them grow. When I'm sure you've had the same success where you do a marketing campaign and all of a sudden the phone's ringing, they're converting sales because you got an invisible selling course that you can help them, follow up on the leads and close those new clients. And that's where the glory comes in, is their success. Because we've got so many decades of experience, and it's great that we've done this in the past, but what we want to do now is pass on that knowledge and expertise to others so they benefit from it, right? It's, again, sales is being of service to others. You're there to help. And it's again, when you're having, so you've gotten over yourself, you got a profile picture, you maybe even have a demo video of explaining who you are, who you help, how you work, which is a way of making your website a lot more interactive. Of like, me in person is very different, and on video is very different from just a static photo, right?
Yeah.
So you get a feel for, how I sound like, this is, so some people have grating voices and you go, I couldn't work with that person because my ears,
Well, I think that's a good point, because often when you think about it, I think we're working often with people who have some understanding of sales and marketing and copywriting, but they're not experts, and they're intimidated. Many, I think, are intimidated by the fact that they don't know all of the ins and outs. So they want to know that the person, I think, that they're working with understands that and will respect the fact that it's a learning process for them, and that kind of dials back to caring about them, I think, and being understanding how they feel. Right.
I mean, it just sort of, there's a lot of inside jargon, and no matter what industry, if we do, and your CTA has to be this, and they kind of going, CTA, what's a CTA? Call to action. It's about, never using jargon that they might not know, because I don't want to stereotype it. The men don't like to ask for directions, right? They'd rather just get lost, right? But they don't want, not most people. Not even, I won't stereotype. Most people don't want to look dumb. exactly what you're saying is that they want to go, oh yeah, my CTA. Okay, where did I put my CTA? Right? I mean, they want to, so again, you want to use accessible language and explain things in a way that the fifth grader would understand. And that comes back to the sales conversation where I call it don't start premature selling. Is like don't come and pitch at me, because if you're doing that shotgun approach, you're just going to bore me to death. You don't, it doesn't show that you care about me. Because if you care about me, you're going to ask me questions like, what's really of concern? The old, what keeps you up at night? Okay, find a different question to ask. I like to say, what are your biggest challenges right now? How are you coping with the pandemic? What are your plans for, come September? How have you changed or pivoted, adapted to these changing, challenging circumstances?
Those are things that are important to them, right?
That's right. And the more you get them to talk and you go, oh, okay, because I've got 10 services I can offer you. And if I tell you all 10, you're going to be going, oh, whoa, Niagara Falls, here we come. It's like, no, I'm just going to be like, the, I don't know, little creek up the road here. Is I'm just going to trickle stuff to you. Because you're telling me this is really of concern and this is really of concern. And I keep digging deeper and deeper. And why is that? And why is that? And how come? And how does that happen? And what are the consequences of that action? And I just ask questions, right? Become that annoying 3-year-old of why, daddy, why, mommy? And just ask questions. And then finally you'll come down. So, and then summarize, recap. So we've talked about this and these are your 3 priorities. I haven't got anything, financing is not my thing, but one way to get financing is to sell more stuff at a better profit. That I can help you with.
Yeah.
Want to talk more about that? And again, I asked a question. I should let you, again, let you answer.
Well, when you are doing that and pulling that information out of them, you're not thinking about yourself. You're fully engaged with them, and they will, as I think you started off by saying, they will sense that. They will, in fact, they may even start into a selling conversation anticipating that it's going to be like maybe a majority of the selling conversations they find themselves in, where the salesperson is concerned about themselves and not really focused. Whereas if it's done properly and you forget about yourself and you get engaged with what the prospect is looking for, they will feel that. And their sales defenses will go down because they won't feel like they're in a selling situation, I don't think.
Yeah, I know when I became a sales coach and I had to deconstruct what made me, or what was my secret sauce, my superpower. And I came down to being curious and caring. And I was insanely curious, and I still am. I will walk my dog in the park. There's a bicyclist and a picnic table. I will have his life story in 15 minutes. I don't know why or how, but it just happens because it's like, okay, I know me. I'm bored with me. Let's find out about you. What I don't know. It's I can do that in an elevator too. It just happens because, again, I don't really care about me. So it's like, whoa, what are you? What makes you tick? What brought you here? Again, I am that annoying 3-year-old. I admit. Okay, but again, stop. Get over yourself. Stop thinking that you're special, and that other people don't hate their pictures too. Just get somebody, somebody that you love to take a picture of you. It doesn't have to be high res. It doesn't have to be a professional, but it just has to be a clear headshot of yourself. Put that on LinkedIn. Do a demo video and just go on video, just like we're doing, until comfortable with it. It's just people see you all the time. So,
and also one thing to think about too is when you're doing these things, whether it's a video, whether it's a picture or something, people don't want it to be overproduced and it to look too polished. There's lots to be said, and I think there's probably studies somewhere showing maybe you don't have the best video and you're not enunciating your words perfectly. That makes you more real to your prospect. Your prospect doesn't want some city slicker, fast talking person that's got all the answers and everything like that. They want to work with something that is somebody they feel comfortable with.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Gerry, because there's a lot of people ask me, so what's your package look like? Because they're so used to people offering packages. I was like, what's your package? It's like, oh, I don't have
I
package.
don't have
I don't
one.
have package. It's like, what do you need? You know, it's like, I'm not going to force feed you. It's like when I became a farmer and I was looking at, well, I had no background in farming whatsoever, never wanted to be a farmer. So I thought, well, maybe I need to, you know, go to a college and get some horticulture skills. And I looked at, you know, getting a certificate. It's like they had turf management. I went, I could not see myself spending a semester on turf management. I hate grass, you know, I don't like grass is just for the frame around the flower borders. Otherwise, I am not looking at. So I realized that I was a do-it-yourself learner. Okay, I'm gonna just read the books and talk to people and ask questions, and that made me into an expert gardener. So I'm very much, you know, I think it's realizing, you know, what your shortcomings are and figure out how to solve them. And there's no one answer for everyone. You know, like that Jeff Walker launch formula. You know, you know, yes, some people have made a lot of money, but I mean, they're the 0.01%. Like, what about the other 99.99%? You know, how
Right.
well do they do? Because the formulas just don't work. You know, they just plain old do not work because there's too many variables, as we well know, about, you know, the audience and the message and the product, and there's just so many variables, and you have to get them all right and all, you know, lined up in the right way. So anyway, so I think that's it for this show. Remember to be curious and caring. If you ask a question, listen to the answer, and then wait to respond. Okay, and that'll get you lots more success. Anyway, till next week.
See you next week.
Bye.